Hey y'all, hey. So today it's a travel topic. I'm going to talk about Travel by Jen. A lot of people tend to have questions about them. They work with Groupon. So a lot of the mainly Caribbean trips. So I know the DR, they had a lot of Jamaica, Bahamas. I even think they have the Virgin Islands. Um, if you book through Groupon, you're actually booking. It's through Groupon, but then Travel by Jen is the travel agency that books and plans your trip. So I'm gonna give a review of Travel by Jen. So me, I'm not a negative person. I try not to focus on the negative. So I'm definitely gonna go over the pros of this company before I dig into my experience, which wasn't the greatest, but it was still a great trip. Because again, I don't like to focus on negative. I'm gonna make the best of any situation, but I definitely wanted to do this review to avoid anybody, especially new travelers. Thank God I was experienced, so I knew how to handle it. But had I been someone who wasn't, it could have been a really bad situation. So let's start with the good. So first things first, when we booked it through Groupon, everything was fine. It did take us a little bit of time. So you book the thing, you pay through Groupon. Then you call the number for Travel by Jen for them to book your flights, guarantee your room, and all of that. Call the number, we couldn't get through. However, after about 3 or 4 tries, we finally got through. And we got a beautiful agent. Her name, I believe, was Jessica. Yeah, it was Jessica. She was really, really sweet, really dope. She gave us all the information as far as like what we needed to do. When we left the airport, what additional fees we would have to pay as far as like transportation, because the airport was an hour away from our resort. So what we had to pay for that, what to look for, what to expect. Like, she was very, very knowledgeable, and I really felt like she set us up for success once we reached the DR. Flight was fine. Transportation to the resort was really nice. The guy that drove us, he was a local. He was really, really nice. He told us good things about the island, a little background about the island. So it was great. And that's where it ends. First, we spent, I believe it was $679 per person. It was 5 days in the DR, leaving from Richmond, Virginia. Because our flights were so cheap, we had very long layovers. So we left Richmond at 5 a.m. We did not get to the Dominican Republic until 5 p.m. Which, that's very, very long, because there are ways you can get there in like 4 hours. So it was like a 12-hour situation where we had really long layovers. But again, I guess you get that with getting a cheaper package. Check-in for the resort was 3 p.m. Again, we didn't get there until 5 because our flight, when we got there, our room wasn't ready. So the guy told us, go eat, go sit by the pool. When your room is ready, we'll let you know. So we go to eat. The food that was out was old. There were bugs on it. Like, it was disgusting. So we were like, okay, it's the end. Because we could tell it was like towards the end of, I guess that was their lunch. So I believe it ended at 5:30. So we're there at 5. So okay, give them a break. So we didn't eat. We're like, we'll just wait till dinner. We didn't get, our room wasn't ready until almost 7:30. We walk into the room, and immediately we see the room. We're like, this isn't what we signed up for. Like, there was a little box TV. I'm talking first set TV set that was ever made, probably, on this raggedy little TV stand. The beds didn't look the same. The flooring didn't look the same. The balcony wasn't the same. The tub was filthy. The bathroom, like the decor, nothing was like the pictures. So that was the first. But when you open the door, you are smacked in the face with bleach, like a strong odor of bleach. So as you walk further into the room, then you start to smell urine. Also, as you're walking, the floor is soaking wet. So we're leaving. So keep in mind, we've been on the beach, we've been walking around the resort. So as we're walking in this liquid, which we later found was bleach, is leaving those little stains, those dark stains from our shoes being dirty. And so we smell the urine. I pull the sheets back. The bed has pee in it. The tub hadn't been cleaned from the previous people that were staying in the room. The sink was dirty. The bathroom was dirty. There were dead bugs, like a lot of little dead bugs all over the floor. Like they just mopped them and mushed them out the way. So I lose it. I'm like, I can't stay here. So I immediately get on the phone to call Travel by Jen. So I don't have an international package, but I didn't care. So I called because I'm in the DR, it's taking me to Spanish. I didn't understand what was going on. So I couldn't get through. So I ended up emailing Jessica, which was the rep that I talked to. And she pretty much said, it's the weekend, because we got there on a Saturday. She was like, it's the weekend. There's nothing she can do till Monday. And there's nobody I'm going to get through to because they're not open on the weekends. My face. So I'm messaging Groupon, which if you know Groupon doesn't really have a number for you to call. You have to chat with them or email them. But this wasn't a situation where I need to chat or email you. I need a resolution right now. So I'm emailing Groupon, chatting with Groupon. And I'm telling them, I'm sitting there, because I took pictures. I still have these pictures to this day. I took pictures. I send them the pictures in the chat. So he's like, okay, we can help you, but you have to check out of that hotel before we can put you in another hotel. So my response was, I'm not comfortable with checking out of the place where I have to stay in order for you to tell me where you're going to send me. Because what if you're sending me somewhere worse? What if they're booked up? Now I checked out of here. They don't want me here. And that leaves me where? So I'm like, I need to know where I'm going to stay before I check out here. So the chat guy ended up just ending the thing on me because I refused to check out of that location before I went to the next one. So I eventually go down to the front desk and I ask for the manager. And the manager comes and he says, okay, the room that you guys saw is a newer room. Those rooms won't be available for another couple days. However, I can put you in a better room. It's not the room that you signed up for, but a better room for tonight. So I'm like, show me the room. He shows me the room. It's pretty much the same room that was that original room, but it was clean. It did have a newer TV. The furnishing was a little more modern, but it had a beautiful view. And it didn't stink. It was clean, everything. So I was like, okay, great. We can stay here. This is not a big deal. This resort did not have stairs. Every room we had was on the third or second floor. The first time the bellboy did take our stuff to the room. All the other times we moved, we had to carry our own luggage. Keep in mind, it's 3 women. We bought a lot of stuff because we were there for photo shoots and things like that. So we had a lot of stuff and we're carrying it up all these flights of stairs. So after we stayed in that room for I think 2 nights, he ended up putting us in the right room with a great view. It was a great room. It was great. Everything was good. After that, on the resorts part, he really did kind of make the situation better. Because what he did tell us was what we booked, because we booked through Travel by Jen, that's the room that comes with Travel by Jen. And we should have been informed what room we were getting. But him being nice, he gave us pretty much like a suite, a luxury suite. So fast forward, like we enjoyed the trip. We made the best of the trip. We didn't let that hiccup ruin anything. But I definitely wanted to be contacted by Travel by Jen after the trip. So I was like, I'll deal with that once we go home. I didn't want to deal with that while we were on vacation. So that Thursday, while we were in the airport, I called Jessica to figure out like how this happened and how this was okay, and how literally we missed out on our first day because we didn't get settled into a room until almost 11 p.m. So there was no room. Like, we had booked an excursion for that evening to go to this beach, which we couldn't attend because it was just too much. So it's like literally our first day was ruined because of misinformation and false advertisement. So she's like, we can put in a complaint, but it takes 90 days for a result. So I'm like, 90 days? Oh, okay. So I let her put it in. And I can be patient. So I was like, I'll be patient. 97 days went by, nothing. I call again, the same thing. Oh, it's going to be 90 days. At this point, no. 90 days is not acceptable. I need to speak with someone. And I was told that I couldn't speak with anyone. 90 days is it. So in the midst of that, I contacted Groupon. I explained them my experience. I sent them the pictures. Groupon ended up giving me a $75 credit for each ticket that we purchased, which, I mean, it really wasn't on Groupon. Like, I don't personally feel like it was a Groupon issue. So that was that. But I did end up writing a review on the Better Business Bureau of Travel by Jen. And they responded and was like, oh, we're so sorry that your issue wasn't resolved. We are definitely working on a resolution for this. We'll be reaching out to you in no later than 15 days. 15 days went by, nothing. I commented back, letting the Better Business Bureau know that, hey, nothing was done still. They reopened the case. They responded again. And at this point, there still hasn't been a response. So I just kind of took it as a loss. I mean, it is what it is. It was still a beautiful trip. One of my favorite trips, despite that first day. That island is beautiful. It was just a really, really good time, an eye-opening experience. But I say that to say I will never, ever book a thing through Travel by Jen. If you do, I recommend you contacting the resort directly and having the resort send you whatever room or accommodations you will have based off of whatever package you purchase through them. And then I will also get it in documentation because it was disgusting. Like, what we experienced was sickening. And that company, they didn't care. Like, so, and it put a bad taste in my mouth for all travel agencies, to be honest. Since then I haven't, because I always book my own trips. I always do it all myself. And that was the one time that I booked through a third party and was very, very disappointed. So if it was me, I wouldn't do Travel by Jen. But if you do a lot of research. Make sure you contact the resort. Look into your flights because they try and do everything pretty fast over the phone. So make sure you're paying attention to the layovers because that was a very, very long layover for a trip that really could have been 4 or 5 hours, for it to be 12 hours plus. And that didn't include the commute from the resort. I mean, it's from the airport to the resort because that was another hour too. So yeah, Travel by Jen sucks. Jessica, I'm sorry, but your company sucks.